Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's Susie Bright in Santa Cruz, California, recording a update about Jon Bailiff and getting him out of Asheville, North Carolina. And today is September 30th, and it's a little after 9 in the morning in California. So yes, this is the Jon Bailiff Get Him the Fuck Out of Asheville update, also known as Mad Max Fury Road, episode 5000. Do you know how many people I've heard from in Asheville citing that movie, saying this is what it's like? I mean, yeah, exactly. You have to quote science fiction because there's never been anything like it. But let me give you the big news. This is huge about Jon, is we have booked a flight for him leaving the Asheville airport, which is currently running flights through American Airlines. And he has a flight around 10 o'clock in the morning to go to Washington, D.C., where he will be greeted and embraced by his siblings, Megan, Dan, Megan's partner, Marcellus. They can't just wait to take him home and hug him and never let him go. I think that's what's going to happen. They were his destination this whole time. You see, a week ago when Jon left home here in Santa Cruz, he flew to Madison, where he went to college and a lot of his old friends are. He spent a lot of his life growing up in Stevens Point in Madison. And his aim was to help his friend Jesse Cudney, move from Madison to her family home on the coast of North Carolina. And yeah, she's retired, blah, blah, blah. You know, she's been like making this big plan. So he went with her and her elderly cat, whose name is Dirty. They started out and they knew that there was this Hurricane Helen. I mean, you know, they're informed. But at that point, which is hard to believe now, everyone was focused on the impact in Florida. And nobody ever said that an area, the Blue Ridge Mountains, yes, mountains, so far inland, so far above sea level, it was inconceivable even to the meteorologists, except a few Cassandra types, that it could be the end of the world. So he was driving, and as they were going along, they things were looking dicey, and they had been camping, which actually is a good thing because they have camping equipment. They had batteries. They had, all this emergency stuff that you take when you go camping. But they looked around for a hotel to bunker down during the storm, and they found this one place, Holiday Inn, Blue Ridge Holiday Inn, Eastern Asheville. And the person on the phone said, "This is your lucky day. We have one room left," right? It turned out to be a very lucky day and a very lucky room, because they went in, and first everyone's just like, okay, we're going to watch the storm. And, at this point, people are scared. But like so many of us know, it's not the first stage that blows your mind. I mean, unless you die in that stage. It's the flooding afterwards. It's the devastation afterwards. We had our own version of this in terms of fires, floods, landslides in California. You just when you think it can't be any worse, something else happens in the days and weeks to follow. So long story short, that Jon's retired first responder, EMT, handy kind of guy. He just joined the staff of the Holiday Inn. Literally, they hired him. They hired him actually to protect him so corporate couldn't throw him out. And he's like, his new best friend, his new sweetheart forever is a guy named Haley McBride, who's the GM there. And they basically just work side by side, dealing with triage, evacuation, dealing with all the hundreds of people there, then bringing in the first responders. They have reciprocal relationships with different people. So everyone who can do anyone, you know what I mean, can do something for anyone, is like, if we've got food, we'll bring you food. If you've got water, you'll bring me water. Everybody is trading what they can to keep things going. And then there was that awful period of 48 or so hours where there was complete comms blackout, no cell, no Wi-Fi. They still don't have electricity or water, and cell service is, you just can't count on it. If you can't get a hold of someone, it's not because they're ghosting you. It's because there's nothing. And for 48 hours, we just didn't know. We just didn't know what had happened to him. We knew he was trying to get out. Was he stranded? Was he still back at the hotel? That was a terrible time for all of us who have family members out there wondering, my God, what is going on? But finally, he got back in touch. By that point, he explained to me, I'm part of the hotel crew now, and there's like 12 of us here doing everything all day. We just work all day, doing support and, flushing the toilets with water from the pool, because when they stopped working, like, everybody kept taking shits, but the toilet wasn't going. Can you imagine 200 rooms in a hotel all filled with shit? I mean, that's a funny one. There's so much about this that isn't funny, but I try to find the dark humor where I can. Anyway, let me jump to today, because some of you are like, Susie, I know all this. What is happening today? Thanks to our Facebook support group, this little group of people right here, I heard that from an old friend, actually, the woman who was my baby daughter's teenage babysitter. I'm not kidding. When Aretha was 1, we had a 14-year-old girl who lived up the street, and she was the first person I hired to come over and watch the baby for a couple hours. And we stayed really tight over the years. Her name's Ariel Rose Varney. And she sees this, the news about Jon, and she said, Susie, my husband has got me on a flight out of Asheville. And she lives in California, and I'm getting out of here. I'm like, oh my God, tell me everything. Well, it's her husband. Her husband's like me, like getting it done. And come to find out that American Airlines, and I'm going to write them a letter saying, I know what you guys are doing to make this happen. I mean, maybe they're getting a prod from the government, but I know in terms of their people, they are completely down with get people out of here. There's airplanes, there's helicopters. Does it cost money? Yes. Middle-class money. Like, I'm paying like $300 to get Jon out of there, and there's flights, and he's not going very far. He's going to Washington, D.C. I could have figured out some connecting flight, but here's the deal. His plan was to go to Washington, D.C. all this time. He's been wanting to see his family there, his sibs, forever. And this was the big trip to go see them. And after he, dropped off Jessie at her destination, he was going to go to D.C. So now it is happening. Now, there's caveats. Do planes get canceled? Yes. Ariel said there were 2 flights canceled before she got on hers. So what? Does the airport have Wi-Fi? No. Are things crazy? Yes. I mean, just, the fall of Saigon, get it in your head. Like, everyone who can get out, who has a credit card, who can get from point A to point B, a lot of people don't. You know who Ariel's leaving behind? She was there to help her cousin recover from knee surgery. How many of us know about that, right? Total nightmare. Everyone who needs insulin, who needs pain relief, who is, been in a health crisis is fucked up right now, because where do you get it? How do you get there, and where do you get it? Another huge issue there is fuel. Not just fuel for your car, but because there's no electricity, having propane or having gas to operate your chainsaw, to operate the tools you need to cut your way out. A lot of what's going on right now is, can we cut our way out? I mean, sure, you can say, well, what about a kayak? Not always. I mean, yes, maybe. There are people using, people are using anything. They'd float on a toilet seat cover if they could get out. But a big thing is needing fuel to cut your way out, as well as gas to drive away. And some people have asked, well, what about, do we know anything about casualties? We really don't. I mean, every day the confirmed number goes up, up, up. nearing 1,000, but, I'll tell you later how to keep track of that kind of thing. But come on, man. The biggest problem here wasn't that people were dumb and didn't leave. It was nobody really did know until it was too late. And then if you don't have a lot of pull and money and resources and blah, 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 if you don't have an upper middle class backup system, there was no getting out. I mean, I think the worst we've seen is some of those videos and pictures of people, their last moments. I mean, it's really bad. It's really bad. If you're wondering, well, Susie, maybe those are fake. No, they aren't fake, because you see, there was still cell coverage as people were dying, and then everything went out. So you were able to, say goodbye, cruel world, press send, and then different things keep happening. The landslides and the road, like if you hear someone say, oh, 26 is open here, or 40 is, blah, blah, there, but it just keeps changing. I mean, can John get from the hotel to the airport successfully? Will the airport be able, I haven't even, one of the things I got to do today, and maybe some of you can help me out with this, is what's happening with the weather and storms that are going to happen. I want to know that. Mostly, I'm just insanely relieved that John and everybody else who is getting out is getting out. I mean, the resources need to go on a triage level. I've heard a lot of people repeating things like, oh, the government isn't doing anything. Nobody's here. Well, that's bullshit. I mean, I've got reports on the ground. It's just they're not everywhere at once. The triage decisions they're making must be brutal, and there's just too much they don't know. But I can see for myself, and I listen to this one radio station. It's a country music station called Kiss Country 99.9. It's live streaming through iHeartRadio, but you can just look on your browser, Kiss 99.9 Asheville. They've converted from being country music to 24/7 news and on-the-ground support for everyone there. And those people, if they don't win a Pulitzer, I'm going to go kick the Pulitzer people's ass. They have these pros who clearly worked in 20th century radio broadcasting, because they know how to keep the lines running. There's no dead air. They feel like your friend in a foxhole. They are like bringing in on-the-ground reports, and people are like, I'm here, I'm there. Does anybody know where Mary is? There's some insulin available over here. Then they bring in the experts. Here's the sheriff or the guy who's in charge of such and such, and this woman's running a food. They bring all of that in, plus they keep talking to you, and they're locals. And they have just bunked in there, and they're not going to sleep, and they're not leaving, and they keep telling everybody, we are here with you. They are the best. I mean, the national news, you must be fucking joking. The New York Times yesterday, their big story about Asheville led with, automobiles are caked with mud. That was the opening line. I mean, come on, man. There should only be one thing above that fold, and it should be global flood and climate change apocalypse. And the other headline should be insane wars that, as Greta Thunberg so eloquently says, are as much humanitarian, sadism as well as a climate disaster. Who can run a war? The world is fucking ending for our species. We really screwed the pooch. Many of us have known it for years. And now the piper has come with a wall of water and fire. That's where we're at. If I see at this point, and you know how much I love silly gossip, but if I see one more celebrity item about one of these nincompoops, which is being, used as news, I don't care. I don't care. I was gratified to see there's a press conference from Biden this morning, that is Monday morning, and I'm going to post the link below, in which he is quite specific about what he sees from his position and what is going on in North Carolina. He certainly gets it. He has a frog in his throat like me, a sore throat like me. And I think you'll find it interesting and reassuring that we know what's going on. I mean, there's going to be a lot of shit to come. I already am kind of flinching about how the insurance companies at this very moment are probably talking to all their employees and saying, look, I know this sounds bad, but your job is to deny every claim possible, and go, really? You say you were in a flood, but I don't know. If I was the president, I would be calling the insurance companies and saying, you are going to help these people. You are going to approve every claim, or I am going to destroy you. And we're going to nationalize this, and you can just all fuck off. I feel really good about, I hear a lot on the ground about the linemen, the road crews, the fire department. Everybody I know who's a professional helper, who's in the area, has just decided they're not going to sleep. It's their family, it's their people. You are hearing about, random spontaneous people losing their shit. The other day on the radio, somebody said, oh, no. Somebody has just shot somebody else at the gas station. And they said, I wish I could imitate their accent. It's so good. If I listen long enough, it's going to catch up on me. They said, you got to pack your patience. This isn't a time to pack your gun. It's time to pack your patience. And I thought that was great. When I hear that some people are being arrested for taking food or gas, I really don't understand that. I'd arrest somebody if they pulled up in a Brinks truck because they're trying, profiteering. That's worthy of an arrest, but it doesn't make any sense. What I hear from most people is generosity, fear, but generosity. And that, honestly, you guys know Jon. The hardest thing for him is saying goodbye to the people he's worked with every day. And I'm going to post their photos so you can see who I'm talking about. All of them, we want to fly them out and put them up and give them a California rehab. They've been everything to him. It is so hard to say, and now I am leaving you. And, they have responsibilities there. I probably can't sneak them off like I'd like to. And I respect that. There's part of Jon. If I said to Jon right now, honey, they really need you there, maybe you should stay, he'd be like, yes, I thought that too. But I think he can leave. They will carry on without him somehow. They will. There's other good people. And actually getting people out relieves some of the strain on how much of the population there is to service. So that's it. Now, tomorrow, I'm going to do another, and maybe we'll get some video from Jon. He only has Wi-Fi sometimes very late at night. And that last time when we saw, he had a little video where he was talking, that is because he had a rare moment of Wi-Fi. But he is going to record when he can. His big excitement so far this morning was he got to have a shower at the Billy Graham campus, which is nearby. Yes, the Billy Graham religious campus. He said he got in the shower and just drank all the water that he could while he washed himself. And tomorrow, what I'll do is I'll delay. Well, I don't know what I'll do, but I'll do more than one update because I know what everyone wants to know is he out? Did he get out? And I'll confirm that when it happens. And, let's all just if it gets delayed or if he has to wait, at least we know the airport and all the airlines are doing a full press on getting people out who can. And if you've got a credit card, man, and you can get out, or you want to get out and you don't have obligations that keep you there, go on. Go on. Fly the friendly skies. I think that's about it. I'm going to put some links at the bottom. American Airlines, Biden's remarks, the Billy Graham campus radio, the 24/7 radio that I've been listening to. John, what he's doing today is he and his best friend there, Haley McBride, the manager at the Holiday Inn, they're going on a 2-hour trip, that should be interesting, to get a Starlink, which I didn't even really understand what that was before. I just thought, Elon Musk. It's a Wi-Fi system. It's hardware and a connection that is connected to a satellite up in the stars, so that when you don't have Wi-Fi on the ground, or your ground Wi-Fi systems are unreliable, you have this instead. And he wants to bring that into the hotel for, all their operations, everybody there, the first responders. I think I've been Googling it a little bit, and maybe you guys can tell me some more, but there's a lot of Starlink operations in North Carolina right now. I think there's some generosity there as well, of making sure people can get the stuff they need for little or nothing until the crisis has receded a bit. We'll see how that goes. There is Wi-Fi at certain locations, at the hospital, at the public library, right? The library, of course. You can find out these things by going to the radio station. I just keep go to that radio station, 99.9 Kiss Country Radio. They are my God right now. I called them, and I was on the air, and they were really interested in what I could tell them that was happening at John's location. They're just amazing people. I should shut up, right? Shut up. The update is complete for this morning. I will do another update. I don't know if I'll shoot a video or what I'll do, whatever seems appropriate. But I try to hit this moment between 9 and 10 in the morning, California time, same thing at night. And I love you all. John, just when I am able to talk to him, he just is so moved by everyone. And I know when he can, he's going to want to talk to all of you. So, keep on, and I'll have another update tonight. That's it. So long.